Hello, this is Iron Bill back with another video, and today I want to take a few moments and speak to the newer players that are coming in after the Christmas season. Every year in Destiny, what happens is you have players who have received a shiny new console for Christmas, or maybe they've gotten a brand new computer and they decide that they want to delve into the multiplayer universe. And Destiny's as good a destination as any, better than most in my opinion. And I just would like to say hello and give you a few opening thoughts on the game and where it's at right now. So what you're watching right now is PC footage with the current, and it's very high resolution, it's very smooth gameplay, and right now my FPS counter in the upper right hand corner is ranging from 125 to 178. Yeah, that's pretty good frame rate for a multiplayer game online. And yeah, so if you want to play PC, it's beautiful. It is a beautiful game. However, with the newer consoles, the PS5s, the Xbox S, and the Xbox Series S and X, I should say, you have outstanding graphics and smooth gameplay as well. And boy, what a time to get into the game. That said, if you are new to the game, what's involved here? Well, what's included? Well, if you buy everything, you have access to in-game content in the form of raids, nightfalls, dungeons, lost sectors of varying difficulties. You have PvP play and in-game there in the form of Trials of Osiris, which is 3 versus 3 elimination for teams. You have Gambit, which is a mixed PvP PvE environment. From there it breaks down into all kinds of things that you can do. If you just want to do regular PvP play every day, you have about 3 or 4 different flavors of that you can do. That's player versus player, by the way. If you just want to do PvE, you know, the activity you're seeing right now is a strike. And I've loaded into this as a solo player and was matched with 2 other players. I don't know them. I don't have to speak to them, but you know, the 3 of us together can do this strike, and I don't have to worry about hauling it all by myself. So there is that. So in my case, I should also say that I am generally a solo player. I have been in many clans. I've done a lot of in-game content, but the fact of the matter is, where my life is right now, I just can't schedule that. I can't make that work. And, you know, I've tried over and over the last couple of years to be in clans where I could actually get into in-game content, and it winds up in frustration because every time I schedule something, I wind up having to take it off the schedule, and I leave 5 people in the lurch when I do that, and I just don't think that's fair. So for me personally, I don't do that anymore. That being said, that's kind of where the channel's coming from. This channel is about solo play and how best to accomplish solo play for an average player. You know, we're talking about that guy that gets, or gal, who gets home from work, has an hour, maybe 2 to kill, and they decide to relax and unwind by playing this wonderful shooter, and you can do that. That's really what it does to a T. Right now I'm working on quests for a variety of reasons. You work on bounties. I'm leveling my character. It's a looter shooter, so I'm chasing weapons and gear. There's just a lot of stuff to accomplish here. Now, if you do have the time to commit, man, wonderful game that way too. And I would encourage you to get into a clan and get involved and contribute because you make a lot of great friends that way. But if that's not your bag, don't worry about it. You don't have to play with other people if you don't want to. You can, but you don't have to. And that sums up Destiny in a nutshell. I'm going to speed this forward a little bit so that we get into some more play. Destiny in a nutshell is a play as you want kind of game. And the 3 big platforms that you can do it with are PC and Xbox and Sony. Now, all of them have advantages and disadvantages, and I guess I should get the negative out of the way right from the start. On PC, though it's beautiful and it plays smooth, if you're playing PvP, there are cheaters, and that's something you should know right away. Now, either that's a big deal to you or it's not. Either way, you should know it going into it that it does happen. Now, maybe it'll happen to you a bunch, maybe it won't. I've had my fair share of people cheating in PvP, and it got to the place I just didn't want to do it anymore, you know. So I primarily play PvE, but there are other people who say it's not a big deal to them, and you know, they just take it as it comes. If you know, whatever you want, it's there. In console play up till now, though cheating wasn't an issue, you did have, of course, the slow frame rate, 30 frames per second. So if you come in on an Xbox One or lower level Xbox, something that is not next gen, like a Series X or a Series S, you'll be capped at 30 frames per second. Same thing for PlayStation 4 or below, even the pros, capped at 30 frames per second. And worse, a very narrow field of view. I think it's 75 degrees versus the 105 degree field of view that you're seeing in the play before you. I played for years on console. I've tried to go back to console, and let me tell you, it's just a really hard thing to do. It is a very hard thing to do. But for my part, I am currently searching for a next-gen system because I would like to play on console once in a while. I have friends that are still on there, and I would like to, you know, for casual play, try to hook up with them for simple things. And yeah, so I'm definitely going to be looking forward to doing that again. All right, so a word about loot, guns, armor, that sort of stuff. And I'm trying to look into the camera here, by the way, because I've done this video a couple times where I get sucked into the video and don't pay attention to my audience. So forgive me if I keep looking down. Anyway, in terms of loot, you can use just about anything. I mean, there are tons of things that you get, and it is a looter shooter. It's also that has some RPG elements, but the truth is, when you pick up a gun, you'll be able to use it. Whether it's blue, whether it's green, whether it is whatever, even white when you get them early on. Very, very usable guns. But I would not worry too much about whether or not you had the very, very best guns right away, especially in PvE, because let me tell you, it does not make any difference at all. When you're leveling, you know, one of the first things you're going to want to do in this game when you're playing it is to get yourself leveled up as fast as possible. The game allows you to upgrade armor pieces and weapons that you like. I would tell you, until you hit the soft cap of 1250, don't waste any materials doing any of that. Just wear the highest level stuff that you can get, whatever it does. Just play with it. Trust me, just play with it. Because one of the biggest things you're going to have to do is start pooling those resources so that you can upgrade things later on that really do matter. Especially if you're aiming towards endgame of any kind or optimizing for a play type. There are ways to optimize for PvP that make you a very, very strong player, tough to beat. Same way with PvE. So I would just strongly advise, save those materials until you absolutely have to use them. In terms of what those particular loadouts are, I'm not the guy to ask on that, because I am right now pretty specific in my play. And chances are you're a player that is going to play outside of that very narrow niche. And let me just say that there are plenty of YouTubers out there that specialize in builds, and that's probably what you need to search out after you figure out what style of play you want to do. I mean, like, if right now you know you're a PvE player through and through, start looking up PvP loadouts and for the different classes of characters that you can play, and start nailing it down. Start hunting materials for those things. That's what I would tell you. Same thing for PvE. You know, if you have a particular class you want to play and you know how you want to play it, you know, after you've played just a little bit and you kind of sort it out, look those players up, because they are far better high-end players than myself. I'm just your average Joe who plays solo and tries to encourage you to play even if you have to play solo. Okay, other than that, most of the rest of what I would say would just be kind of random thoughts. You know, learn your maps. You'll play content enough, no matter how you play, that you'll be playing the same maps. And figure out, like for instance in PvE, enemies tend to spawn in the same place every time. So if you're struggling with a particular event the first time you do it, don't worry, just keep doing it. You know, the experience is key. You'll sort out what you have to do, where the enemies are coming from, and you can strategize how to prioritize your enemies in such a way to be more successful. In PvP, knowing the map can give you, and being able to strategize how to use that knowledge is one of the big draws of the game for PvP players. How they can leverage their own knowledge and skill against that of other players. So, something in it for everybody. There is no one answer. Don't let anyone tell you there is. Just figure out what you want to do, how you want to do it, and the information's out there. Destiny is one of the most established shooters out on the market right now. It is has consistently for years been a very, very popular seller. And we are about 40 days away from the next drop for the next DLC, or season, I should say. Not DL. They don't do DLCs anymore. And I would spend the time remaining just kind of getting myself up to level so that you'll be ready to use those resources for the next drop when it happens. If you're a regular viewer and you're still with me, I want to thank you for the support. And, you know, I don't have a lot of followers. It's okay. I don't do this for money. I do this for fun. But kind comments are always appreciated. And, you know, constructive criticism too. I'm not, you know, completely blind to my failings. So anyway, the video's gone on long enough. I just want to encourage you to play and enjoy it any way you see fit. So long as you're not cheating, there's no wrong way to play. So with that said, this is Iron Bill thanking you for watching very much, and I will catch you later.